All right, we want to bring in Krista Kafer with us now. She's a longtime Republican and for a while was a never-Trumper. She's a Denver Post columnist and has been with us over the years with Politics Unplugged. So, Krista, not a great night, at least at the major races in Colorado for Republicans.
No, not a great night at all, but I think it could be a good night for the country. We'll see. Also, a couple of victories for us here in Colorado. We're going to be able to vote on fees. Looks like we're going to get ourselves a tax break, which is nice. And I just learned that Denver's going to be getting rid of its pit bull ban, which means that those dogs will not be automatically put down, and they can, live a good, healthy life with their owners. And Denver will simply go after bad owners and bad dogs and get rid of its sort of bias against this breed, which a lot of wonderful dogs are pit bulls, let's face it. So one little victory, I'm happy about that.
Krista, I had asked, I can't even remember now who. The night's been so long. I can't remember who I put this question to earlier, but I'll put it to you as well. If Donald Trump loses tonight, what does the Republican Party, both nationally and in Colorado, look like? Is it still reflective of Trump, or does it become something maybe it used to be, or something else altogether?
I think it could end up maybe moving slightly more libertarian. I mean, Donald Trump is kind of a big government guy. I think he's done some really good things. I think his own sort of tweeting and, I think that's kind of the downside of Donald Trump. But he's done some good things. He's had some good judges. He's put in place some good deregulation. I would see that maybe the party would be maybe a little bit more libertarian, which I think could be a good thing, a little more, hey, let's tackle that $23 trillion deficit, or not deficit, but debt, and get rid of this, multi-trillion-dollar debt that we have, or deficit that we have every year. Let's balance the books. I think we could see more of that coming from Republicans, but I still think that Trump can probably pull it out.
But in the meantime, given that scenario, if he does not win and someone like a Lauren Boebert does win, what does that then say about that scenario you just presented?
Well, I do think we're going to see an awesome midterm election coming up in 2 years if Biden wins. I say this because Democrats tend to favor shutdowns. We're going to see a pretty serious recession. And Democrats, particularly in the state, are going to own that recession. It's going to be theirs. And so we're going to have people saying, hey, does this big regulation, big spending, shutdown scenario actually help people? And of course it doesn't. I think we're going to see more businesses shutting in this state, particularly with the initiative that is probably going to pass that's going to add a business tax for family leave. We could see more small businesses go out with the draconian shutdown type policies. And, when people lose jobs, they might just think a little bit differently come next election.
How has this 4 years with Donald Trump in the White House, how has it changed your identity as a Republican?
Well, I left the party when he was nominated. I came back after seeing just the atrocious treatment over Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings, and I came back to the Republican Party, and I've been an active member since then. I would say that just the behavior, both obviously Trump's stupid tweeting and that, but also the really atrocious behavior on the other side, with just the nasty rhetoric, the constant sort of just ginning up of things. And I think, bad behavior on both sides can make a person like me extra cynical. And I didn't think I could actually get more cynical, but I think there's still room to grow.
Yet, Krista, for a while, you were a never-Trumper. And so it really came down to the lesser of two evils in your mind?
Yeah, basically, I think I said, just about a year ago, I said that, I never wanted to eat out of a dumpster, but if I was starving, I certainly would. And at that point, I was still kind of undecided. And I thought, I need to make a decision based on policy. And here's the deal. Biden, I'm sure, is a nice human being, but his policies are bad for America, and they're bad for people like me. I have pre-existing conditions. And so for us to move in the way of socialized medicine is really bad for people like me. I watched a friend of mine at my exact age, which is 50, die of cancer in an English hospital because of the poor care he got under their nationalized system. And I don't want that. I don't want any kind of scheme that takes us any closer to socialized medicine, where people get poor care and have poorer results. Also, he plans to make us pay for abortion through our taxes, and I'm not going to do that.
So back to
So when I looked at those policies plus Trump's track record on judges and deregulation, yes, I still don't like the man. But for me, it was like, I think I'm going to have to vote for Trump.
But if health care is one of the driving forces for your opinion, we still haven't heard how Trump would replace Obamacare.
I can't wait for him to replace Obamacare if he's able to do that. And here's the deal. I've been self-employed for the better part of about 15 years. And the plan I had before Obamacare was so much better. And it was a private plan. I'm a big girl. I can pay for my own health insurance. And I had a better plan for less money. Now I have a terrible Obamacare plan. I mean, they don't cover anything. And I pay every single month. I would love to go back to the day where I can get my own policy with that is suited to the needs that I have, doesn't have to meet a bunch of mandates that I don't need, and I'd be able to get that plan for something that's a lot more affordable.
Well, but back to Shannon's point, though, we don't know what the president has planned. There is no plan that's been put out there. So how do you know that is a deciding issue then for you?
Well, I would say that Republicans generally have better ideas on health care. They trust the private market. They trust doctors, patients, nurses, hospitals. I mean, I've had, 5, 6 surgeries in the last 10 years. So I interact with these people, doctors, surgeons, nurses. I've been to a number of hospitals around our great city. And those are the people that I trust. I don't trust government mandates. I've seen what they've done to my health insurance plan. So whatever Republicans can come up with, I think will be better than what Democrats can come up with.
Well,
Would it be
some
nice
people
if
might
it
take
were
issue
bipartisan?
with
Sure.
your point then regarding the whole COVID issue and the way that the president has approached some of the medical community. I mean, just this last week saying that the medical community, by diagnosing COVID patients, is
getting more money.
Yes.
Well, I think there's been some evidence of overdiagnosis. I mean, people who had other conditions, but somehow COVID ended up being the primary, when in fact it was the other conditions that ultimately brought about their demise. What I like about what the president has done, number one, he survived it. I love his optimism. Yeah, I don't love him, but I like the fact that he says, yes, we can beat this. We've invested in a number of vaccines. I've actually gone to a vaccine site where they are investigating these vaccines. I've signed up to be a part of those trials. I'm very excited about the vaccines that are on their way. And honestly, I hate the fear mongering. This disease is not Ebola. It's not bubonic plague. It's serious and people have died. But it's about, 98, 99% survivable. So why are we shutting down businesses? Why are we shutting down the economy? I have a friend who employs a number of people I know. Her business is at risk of shutting down. She's a female entrepreneur and she may lose her business. How many businesses, restaurants, mom and pop shops will lose their business and lose everything they have because of the fear mongering?
Krista.
Let's face this together with optimism. Let's take personal precautions, but not do the kind of fearful thing that I've seen other politicians do. It's ridiculous.
Krista, thank you so much. I always appreciate having thoughtful conversations with you and appreciate your input tonight.
It's great to see you too.
Nice having you. Krista Kafer, thank you.